You wrote a column, The Trump Counter-Revolution, and that it's a return to sanity, which that's what I feel is what's happening here. The examples that you write that Trump campaigns on closing borders, pushing back a massive illegal immigration, fighting crime, fighting soaring prices. I mean, and it was these basic common sense issues that every American is suffering from is what helped propel him to this landslide victory, this counter-revolution, as you called it. Do you see it continuing after Trump? After all, we're seeing some of the people that he picked. I feel like he purposely picked certain people like J.D. Vance, like Pete Hegseth, to continue that MAGA legacy.
Yeah, I would even go further. I think he picked a lot of his appointees on the basis that they had suffered injustices from the very agencies that they're tasked to run. I mean, Jay Bhattacharya was hounded by the NEH. He's going to direct it. Tulsi Gabbard was put on a terrorist watch list. I think she will be confirmed as Director of National Intelligence. Pete Hegseth was criticized by people in the Pentagon for his book. I could go on. So I think he's seen now that in 2016, he didn't put a high premium on loyalty, and people in the so-called proverbial swamp tried to subvert him from the inside of his own government, his own appointees and cabinets, and he's not going to make that mistake, and he's much wiser now. So yeah, and the other thing very quickly is that we were in a cultural evolution that was 360 degrees. This leftist project that started during the COVID lockdown, the George Floyd riots, the hysteria against Trump, it was an effort to create a new sex, a third sex. It was an effort to really say that looting or theft or shoplifting were okay. It was across the board that they were going to change the foundational date of the United States till 1619, tear down statues, change the names of iconic places and buildings. It was an effort like the French Revolution or Mao's Cultural Revolution that nothing was going to be sacrosanct. Everything was going to be changed, and we were going to race away this terrible past. And I think the people said, we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it anymore. We're sick of it.
Right, including destroying our children, right? Because President Trump also campaigns on that he wants to end child mutilation, child chemical castration.
Yes.
This is what's happening. You would never think, right, that this would even be a topic of discussion where we are saying, do not give children hormones that can give them cancer, osteoporosis, and will forever castrate, make them infertile. But here we are, and the left was pushing this, telling us this was normal, that we were abnormal. And so, yes, it does feel like we're back to a sense of normalcy. Do you feel, Victor, that children were purposely being targeted in the leftist revolution?
Yeah, I do. And I think you can see that in the changes in the educational curriculum. There were graphically pornographic books and things like that, and they put them in libraries, and then they just dared conservatives to say, no, we're not going to do that. And then they said, you're censoring. They tried to set up things so that they could play the victim, that they were they were victims of abuse or that unfair criticism. But because they were so radical, if we had the discussion just 5 years ago and said they're going to let in 500,000 felons that have violent arrest records in their home countries, and they're going to let them in and destroy the border, nobody would ever believe that. It was so crazy. And it was kind of like Mao's revolution, where they went after people with, eyeglasses and spoke a foreign language. It was that same totality. And then they said there wasn't a mandate. Donald Trump won the popular vote. First time in 20 years a Republican did. He won the Electoral College. Every issue that he ran on had 60 to 65% support: border, crime, foreign policy, economy. And now this is a very rare period in American history. They have the White House, they have the Senate, they have the House, tenuous, but they do have the House and the Supreme Court. And so they can do a lot of things that the left is terrified. And one final thing is, the left kept saying, you're going to take revenge on us, you're going to weaponize the government. What they're really saying is, given what we did to Donald Trump the last 4 years, and given who we are, if we were in his place and we had suffered what we did to him, I know what we would do. We would go after our enemies, and therefore Trump must be just like us. But I don't think he is at all. He's not going to look backwards.